Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about 5 fun undeath builds in D&D. Basically, cool ways to really play an undead focused character. Um, so yeah, we're going to be talking about 5 specific class builds, and I'm also going to talk about some races that would really help this character out, give him a little bit of flair. So let's get right into it. So the first race I really want to bring up, well, I guess they're not. Technically, it's a lineage, but whatever. So these three are from Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft, and I specifically wanted to talk about the Dampire and the Reborn. So the Dampire is basically, well, how you play a vampire in D&D. Um, and then the Reborn, it's kind of what it sounds like. You died, and then you were reborn. So both of these make for great undead character options, and okay, so specifically speaking about the Dampire, they give you a lot of cool abilities, and you can flavor them however you want. Like, you don't just have to be hungry for blood. And they give you a lot of cool examples here, as well as origins, but just talk with your DM. I mean, that goes really for any race or class. Just talk with your DM about it first. That's what matters the most. Um, but for their traits, you are humanoid, medium or small, 35 walking speed, and then you get ancestral legacy, dark vision as well. You do get deathless nature, which kind of niche, but can be really helpful. Where you don't need to breathe. And then this is a really cool ability where you get spider climb, so you can you have a climbing speed that's equal to your walking speed, and you can just like walk on the ceiling. And the nice thing is your hands are free, so you can do this while casting spells. So vampires are a really cool race for a lot of casters, or even, I mean, really anyone. It's such a cool ability. Sorry, I like vampires a lot. Anyway, you also get a really cool bite attack. Yeah, so they're really great. A lot of undead spoopy flavor there. And then as for the other lineage I really wanted to talk about, we have the Reborn here. So basically, again, flavor this however you want, but it's, someone who's kind of died and then they've been reborn, and a lot of the time they don't remember their past life and they're trying to figure out where they're coming from. There's a lot of really cool narrative hooks that you can flavor with this race. I like them a lot. They even give you examples of like lost memories, and origins, all that kind of stuff. But for your traits, humanoid, medium or small again, 30 feet walking speed, pretty standard. You also get ancestral legacy. Um, you get deathless nature, but this one's a little bit different. It's not just you don't need to breathe. So you have advantage on saving throws against disease and being poisoned, and you also have resistance to poison damage. And then you also have advantage on death saving throws, which is pretty huge. And then you don't need to eat, drink, or breathe. And then you don't need to sleep, and magic can't put you to sleep. You can finish the longest in 4 hours if you spend those hours in an inactive, motionless state, during which you retain consciousness. That's pretty crazy. Very fun race. And you also get knowledge from a past life, which just means you can like roll a d6 immediately after seeing the number on a d20 and add that d6 to the check. So yeah, and you can do it a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. Pretty cool. So that's it for the lineages that I think really fit the undead nature. But next we actually are going to talk about another lineage. But and of course we have custom lineage from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Super fun. You know, basically you can flavor this however you want, and I guess it's the most versatile race. Can you even call it a race? I don't know. It's whatever the heck you want it to be, which is really cool. So you could be a zombie, or at least flavored, because technically you're still a humanoid. But um, anything you could flavor this, maybe like as a ghost. Talk to your DM, maybe if you want to reflavor the feat or make a custom feat to give you cool racial traits. Like, it's whatever you want. It's really cool. Very versatile. So humanoid, smaller, medium, you gain 1 feat of your choice when you take this race, and then the variable trait, so you either get dark vision, or proficiency in 1 skill. So dark vision, usually a little bit better here, but do what makes you happy. Maybe you're playing a class that gives you dark vision. So move away from lineages, and while these next races I'm going to talk about may particularly not be actually undead. There's a lot of cool undead flavor that I think you can add, and they generally tend to be pretty spoopy anyways. So they're really great to give you a good start. So first up, we have the Shatterkai, personally one of my favorite races. So these are basically the Fae or the elves of the Shadowfell. And a lot of the time they're tied into the Raven Queen, but you don't have to do that, you know? They're basically just like Shadowfell elves. So for creature type, you're humanoid, and then you're also considered an elf for any prerequisite that requires you to be an elf. Pretty handy dandy. You're medium, standard walking speed, blessing of the Raven Queen. Now this is a crazy ability in my opinion. So as a bonus action, you can magically teleport up to 30 up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space you can see, and you can use this trait a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended use when you finish a long rest. Already pretty useful, right? But this next part, starting at 3rd level, you also gain resistance to all damage when you teleport using this trait. The resistance lasts until the start of your next turn. During that time, you appear ghostly and translucent. Like, how cool is that? Like, very, very spoopy. You also get dark vision, 60 feet. Pretty cool, pretty standard. You have Fey Ancestry as well, which is always helpful. So advantage on saving throws to make, avoid, or end the charm condition. Keen senses, perception, most used skill in the game. Pretty cool. And then you also get resistance to necrotic damage. Can't really ever complain about a resistance. And then you also get trance. So basically, you only have to sleep for 4 hours, which, you know, can be pretty useful. So yeah. So the next race we have here is the ASMR, but more specifically, we're going to be talking about the Fallen ASMR. So with Mordenkainen Presents Monsters of the Multiverse, the ASMR changed quite a bit, and the 3 types of ASMR are not a separate subrace anymore, but you can still play the Legacy ASMR if you choose to do so. We're just going to be going over the new one here. So, so I would just immediately obviously flavor yourself to be a Fallen ASMR if you know that's what you're going to do, if this is how you're making your character, right? So you're humanoid, medium or small, 30 feet walking speed, and then you get Celestial Resistance, which is necrotic, resistance to necrotic and radiant damage. Pretty helpful, not super common damage types, always good. Dark vision, so you can see, you know, what am I saying? We all know what dark vision is. You also get Helping Hand, so as an action, you can touch a creature, roll a number of d4s equal to proficiency bonus, and this creature regains a number of hit points equal to the total rolled. You can only use it once per day. You get Light Bearer, so you know the light cantrip, with Charisma as your spellcasting ability for it. So then, at 3rd level, you get Celestial Revelation. So the one we're specifically going to be talking about here is the Fallen ASMR, basically the necrotic shroud, right? So your eyes briefly become pools of darkness, and ghostly, flightless wings sprout from your back temporarily. Creatures other than your allies, within 10 feet of you that can see you must succeed a charisma saving throw, DC 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your charisma modifier, or become frightened of you until your next turn. Until the transformation ends, one of each of your turns, you can deal extra necrotic damage to one target. When you deal damage to it with an attack or a spell, the extra damage equals your proficiency bonus. Pretty great little bonus. Lots of flavor there, like especially just the wings, very cool. So that's the one I wanted to focus on for this. So yeah. So this next race, I'm also gonna combine. We have Warforged. I know. Just trust me. Just give it a second. All right, let me explain. Let me explain myself, please. But I'm also gonna lump Autognomes in with Warforged because they're basically just tiny Warforged with slightly different abilities. So, yeah. But for Warforged and Autognomes, the reason that I have them here is because if you want to play, like a suit or have basically just be a soul in a body, or the soul that's stuck, you know, what if it could be a suit of armor, or you could be, you know, maybe your soul took over a puppet's body. I think this is a really great way to do that and bring out a lot of different flavor, like I said, in both either the Autognome or the Warforged. Both kind of work here, so yeah, depending on what you're going for. So just we'll go over Warforged traits. Constitution increases by 2, other ability scored by 1, but if you're using Tasha's, doesn't matter. Age, irrelevant. Alignment, we don't need to talk about that. Size, you're medium size, 30-foot walking speed, constructed resilience. So you have advantage on saving throws against being poisoned and resistance to poison damage. You don't need to eat, drink, or breathe. You're immune to disease and you don't need to sleep, and magic can't put you to sleep. So a lot of the themes do have some sort of like deathless kind of nature with the races that we're talking about, which really helps them to feel like more undead. So Sentry's rest, only 6 hours of sleep, motionless state, bing bong boom. Integrated protection, so you get a +1 to your armor class, and you can only don armor with which you have proficiency to don this armor or shield. You have to incorporate it into your body. I talked to your DM about this. It can be really cool if it's what you want to go for, like, but if it's not, I'm sure you can probably work around it, right? So specialized design, you gain a skill proficiency and a tool proficiency. And then you can read and write common and mother language of your choice. So yeah. And then just really quick, also for Autognome, you are a construct, which, be noted, that is different than the Warforged, so keep that in mind. You're small, your walking speed's 30 feet. So armored casing, armor class is 13 plus dex modifier, and then built for success. You can add a d4 to one attack roll, ability check, or saving throw you make, and you can do so after seeing the d20, but before the effects of the roll are resolved. You can use this trait a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Pretty cool. You also get Healing Machine, which basically lets you if the mending spell is cast on you, you can heal some hit points, and you can also benefit from spells like Cure Wounds, Healing Word, that kind of stuff, because those usually don't affect constructs, and that would be really interesting if you were a character and you couldn't be healed. You also get Mechanical Nature, so you have resistance to poison damage, immunity to disease, and advantage on saving throws against being paralyzed or poisoned, and then you don't need to eat, drink, or breathe. Dang. Sentry's Rest, this is the same thing as Warforged, and then you also gain 2 proficiencies of your choice. 2 tool proficiencies. I read that wrong. I'm so sorry. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. So that's it for the races. So let's start getting into some builds here. So I do want to mention before we get into the builds, a lot of these are mostly for flavor and for fun. Some of them I do think are really good, but also some of them definitely are not as great. So most of this, it's for fun, flavor. So yeah. And I went up to level 20 with all of them, but I'm going to be breaking down the orders in which you should probably take the levels. But again, these are all just suggestions and to give you ideas, right? So this first build I like to call the Shadows. I messed it up. Let me make it spooky. Ooh. This first build I like to call the Shadow Storyteller. Ooh. So you're going to start off with 1 level in Shadow Sorcerer, and what that's going to get you, a bunch of different stuff. You're going to get your proficiencies, spell casting, but you also get to choose your sorcerer's origin at first level. So that's going to give us Eyes of the Dark. So you're going to get a dark vision with a range of 120 feet, which is really nice. And then you're also going to get Strength of the Grave, which is a really awesome ability. So starting at first level, your existence in a twilight state between life and death makes you difficult to defeat. When damage reduces you to 0 hit points, you can make a charisma saving throw. On a success, you instead drop to 1 hit point, and you can use this feature if you can't use this feature if you are reduced to 0 hit points by radiant damage or by a critical hit. And after the saving throw succeeds, you can't use this feature again until you finish a long rest. But yeah, super nice. Super, super cool feature right there. But this also gets us quite a decent amount of level 1 spell slots, and 4 cantrips right off the bat, which is always really nice. So then what we're going to do, why I wanted to start off with Sorcerer, is because I like spell slots. And you don't get spell slots when you are a Warlock. So, then you're going to take 2 levels of Warlock. And for our subclass, we are going to go with... You know what we're going to go with, guys? We are going to go with the Undead Warlock patron, because the Undying patron is terrible and we don't talk about it. So, um, we're going to choose our patron at first level, and of course we're going to get Pack Magic, an expanded spell list, which is nice. So that's going to give us Bane, False Life, um, Blindness, Deafness. So, nope, just Bane and False Life, because we're only taking 2 levels. Sorry, brain. And then you're also going to get your Form of Dread, and this is a super awesome ability. You transform for 1 minute and you gain the following benefits while transformed. You gain temporary hit points equal to 1d10 plus your warlock level. And then once during each of your turns, when you hit a creature with an attack roll, you can force it to make a wisdom saving throw, and if it fails, then it's frightened of you until your next turn. And then you're also immune to the frightened condition, which is so cool. You can transform a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and then you get all of those transformations back when you finish the long rest. So yeah, and the appearance will usually reflect your patron, and that works since we're going for spoopy undead vibes here. So then, also at second level, we're going to get our Eldritch Invocations. I would recommend personally just taking Agonizing Blast and then whichever other invocation you would like of your choice. Because yeah, so Agonizing Blast, this was going to ensure that we're still able to deal damage, because we're going to be taking a lot of wonky levels for a little bit all over the place. So like, no matter what, you're going to have something that's like very stable and right there, you know? Cool. So after we take those 2 levels in Warlocks and take whatever spells you'd like, personally, I would recommend taking spells that make sure that they're going to scale, or damaging spells, because next we're going to be taking 3 levels of Bards, and Bards have like no damaging spells, which kind of sucks. So we're going to be taking 3 levels in Bard next. And what that's going to get us, obviously, hit points. We're going to get some extra proficiencies. Spell casting, we're going to get Bardic Inspiration. That's all just at 4th level. And then 2nd level, we're going to get Magical Inspiration, Jack of all Trades, amazing feature, Song of Rest. And then at 3rd level, we're going to get our Bard College, as well as 2nd level spell casting, just for our Bard spells specifically at least. So we're going to choose College of the Spirits, which is a very cool subclass, underrated in my opinion. And then we're also going to get Expertise at 3rd level. Very nice. But we're also going to get Guiding Whispers, and this is such a cool feature. So you can reach out to touch spirits to guide you, and you learn the guidance cantrip, which is amazing. But the coolest part is, it has a range of 60 feet when you cast it. Amazing. So you're also going to get Spiritual Focus, which means you can like channel your energy into an unusual spellcasting focus, which really even brings up the spoopy vibes even more, you know, like a candle, a skull, bones, anything spoopy that's really cool, maybe like a Ouija board, anything you want. Very awesome. Then we're also going to get another feature from our subclass, which is Tales from Beyond. So, you reach out to spirits and they tell their tales through you, and while you are holding your spiritual focus, you can use a bonus action to expend one of your bardic inspiration die and roll on the spirit tales table, and there's a bunch of different cool tales here, and they all give you little benefits. It's so fun, very cool. So after we take those 3 levels in bards, you know, we're going to be rocking so many cantrips at this point. We're going to have a lot of low-level utility spells, which is pretty nice, and I would recommend taking... when you're a sorcerer, I'd recommend for your 2 spells in the 1 level, I would take Shield and then a damaging spell. Personally, I really like Chromatic Orb, but it just makes sure you're able to have a good spell that scales with levels and you can do damage with that spell. So, then after that, we're going to be taking 3 more levels in Warlock. Because what that is going to get us at so 3rd level, we are going to get our Pact Boon. So I really think any of the Pact Boons are great for this character. Personally, I wouldn't probably recommend Pact of the Blade, but Pact of the Chain, Pact of the Talisman, or the Tome, you can all flavor them, make them very spoopy or creepy. Personally, since we went with Bard, I really like Pact of the Tome because it really reinforces that storyteller concept, and kind of that's what we're aiming for here with this one. But do whatever the heck you want. Go crazy. So then I changed one of the invocations, of course, to Book of Ancient Secrets, which means we can ritual cast, which is very helpful. And then we also would get Find Familiar anyway. So yeah, and we get even more cantrips as well when we take Pact of the Tome, which is really nice. And these cantrips can be from any spell list. So we're going crazy with the cantrips of this build. So many. But it's really nice since we don't have a lot of spell slots. These cantrips give us a lot of like out of combat versatility, you know? Very good. Very good. Very fun. Also, we're going to get Eldra's versatility if you're using Tasha's. And then we're also going to get our first ability score improvement. I know this is our first one. I know. We're already pretty deep into this build, but for the most part that finishes off the multi-classness of this build because you're not gonna take any more levels in Warlock. So the reason we went to 5th level with Warlock is because we're gonna get our 3rd level spells, and we also get our 3rd invocation. So it's a really big power bump. So that's why we're going with Warlock all the way to 5th level and not to 4th level. And then for the rest of this build, all you're gonna do is stay in College of Spirits Bard and just increase all the way up, take it up to 14th level for College of Spirits, and that'll take you to 20th level. And then also that will, I don't know why I have all those spells, but anyway, that'll give you up to 7th level spells for Bard, which is really nice. And yeah, all around a very fun support caster. A little weak on the like the earlier levels of play, but there's so much flavor and potential there. I really like it. So, moving on to our next build. I call this one the Twilight Stalker. Bum bum bum. I don't know, I think that's a pretty cool. I mean, Gloomstalker's better, but I wanted to combine them because I think this class is very much all about hunting your prey during the transition of the day. I don't know, that's just the vibes I got. I like it. It's fun. So yeah. First off, what we're gonna do, we're gonna start off with Twilight Cleric. Gives us spellcasting, bonus proficiencies. We get our Divine Domain, which obviously we're choosing the Twilight Cleric. We get domain spells, bonus proficiencies in heavy armor, and martial weapons. We get Eyes of the Night, which is insane because then you get 300 feet of dark vision. Insane. Vigilant Blessing. Harness Divine Power. And then we're going to take 2 levels immediately because what we really wanted is the Twilight Sanctuary. All the other abilities of Twilight Cleric is amazing. It's stupid. It's very good. So you can use your channel divinity to refresh your allies. As an action, you present holy symbol and a sphere of twilight that emanates from you. The sphere is centered on you, has a 30-foot radius, and is filled with dim light. The sphere moves with you, and it lasts for 1 minute or until you are incapacitated or die. And then whenever a creature, including you, ends its turn on the sphere, you can grant that creature one of these benefits. So, very cool. Very cool, very fun. And we're going to get a lot of helpful spells as well. But then after we take those first 2 initial levels, we're going to be going right into Ranger. And we're going to be taking 5 levels in Gloomstalker Ranger. So what that's going to get us is also, I would recommend if you want to play a Ranger, talking to your DM and making sure you can use Tasha's because it gives you a lot of way more helpful features, right? So we get a lot of our standard Ranger features here. Proficiencies, so yeah, and then all that kind of stuff. For fighting style, I really think you can pick whatever you want, but I think this character would work really well as a dex-based archer or another dex-based fighting character. Unless you really want to go in with that heavy armor, then I would recommend taking a fighting style that represents that, and going more strength based. But I just kind of imagine this character slipping in and out of the shadows. Um, so yeah. And then we're going to get spellcasting, but then we get to choose our archetype finally at 3rd level. So what that's going to give us is we're going to get Gloomstalker magic. So we get a couple extra spells here. We're also going to get Dread Ambusher. So at the start of your first turn of each combat, your walking speed increases by 10 feet, which lasts until the end of that turn. If you take the attack action on your turn, you can make one additional weapon attack as part of that action, and then if the attack hits, the target takes an extra 1d8 damage of the weapon's damage type. Very cool ability. We also get Umbral Sight, so we gain Dark Vision if we don't have it. But since we're already Twilight Cleric, oh, it specifically says from your race. Never mind. I guess we don't get extra Dark Vision, which kind of stinks. But we already have 300 feet, so who needs an extra 30 feet? Lame. Whatever. We're also going to get, martial versatility, and then we're going to get our first ability score improvement here, and that would be our character level 6 for us. We're going to get extra attack 2, which is really, really what we were after and why we took those 5 levels, so we could make sure we could get that extra attack here. And then we're going to go back to Cleric, and we are going to take 3 more levels in Cleric because Rangers are half casters, so the spell castings, it's a little wonky, like all the spell slots you're going to get, but, it'll be good. Because that'll give us our 3rd level Cleric spells, so we can choose those. And then it's also going to give us another ability score improvement, and then Destroy Undead, which is super helpful. Even if we're playing an undead character, we could be playing someone that's maybe cursed that they were undead, but they also want to destroy all undead because they think they're evil, or something like that, Or maybe you are just playing a very creepy feeling character, but secretly they, I don't know. It's just cool. It works. I think it works. There's a lot of stuff you could do with it. So after that, we're going to take our final 3 levels in Gloomstalker. So that is going to give us Iron Mind, which, another saving throw, which is great. So we're also going to get Land Stride at 8th level, and then another ability score improvement, which is also very helpful. So then the rest of the time, we're just going to finish off this character in Cleric, and be good to go. So we're going to have a lot of different spells we can use, control, a lot of healing. So this character, they're going to be really good at helping their allies. They can also deal a little bit of damage if you're using that archery style from far away. It's really nice. And yeah, so I hope you guys like this one and have fun. Next multi-class we're going to be talking about here is one that many people already probably know. It's pretty popular, but we're gonna be taking a very undead approach, or spoopy. I guess you could just either way. So this one I like to call the Shadow of Vengeance. Ooh. So first off, we're going to start off in 1 level of Sorcerer, giving us proficiency in our Constitution, Charisma saving throws. We always want that Constitution proficiency. That's another great reason for a lot of Charisma casters. You just want to take that 1 level Sorcerer dip. It's super helpful, really helps with the concentration, and also when you start off with Sorcerer, you get a lot of extra cantrips compared to other classes. Pretty pog. We like it. But then again here, for our Sorceress Origin, we're going to go Shadow Magic, again, just like we did in the Shadow Storyteller build. Because we already went over the features, but it gives us a lot of great features that are going to help us really ensure that spooky undead vibe. So then after we take the 1 level in Sorcerer, right? Then immediately we're going to take Paladin. And we're going to take 6 levels of Paladin right off the bat, just going ham right into it. So obviously Paladins are half casters, but they don't get cantrips unless you take that fighting style. But since we took that 1 level in Sorcerer, we also get those cantrips, you know? But we're going to get a bunch of stuff from Paladin. We get a little bit of healing, additional Paladin spells, fighting styles, spell casting, divine smites at 2nd level, all this great stuff. But then at 3rd level, we get our Sacred Oath. Now this is where, it's a little, there's a bunch of different directions you could go with this, but personally, I really like the Oath of Vengeance. It feels very vengeful for someone that was brought back to life, maybe against their will, or what if they were once a mindless undead, but somehow they were able to regain consciousness. A lot of the time when playing an undead character, or something along the lines of that, maybe walking the line between life and death, um, it's there's a lot of anger sometimes depending on how you're playing it, and I think this oath gives a lot of it leans into that a lot. But there's other options you can take here, like what if you're trying to redeem yourself? You could be an Oath of Redemption paladin, or if you have perhaps been protecting something for thousands and thousands of years, and that's why maybe you're an Oath of the Watcher's paladin because you've just protected this like artifact. I don't know. There's a bunch of different ways, but we're gonna go with the Oath of Vengeance for this particular build. You do what you want. So what the Oath of Vengeance is going to give us is our Channel Divinity. So we get Abjure Enemy. So you can present your holy symbol or speak a prayer, and then choose one creature within 60 feet of you, and that creature, they have to make a wisdom save, unless it's immune to being frightened, but basically they will be frightened of you. And then also, as a bonus action, you can utter a vow of enmity against a creature you can see within 10 feet of you. Using your Channel Divinity, you gain advantage on attack rolls against the creature for 1 minute, or until it drops to 0 hit points or falls unconscious. That's super cool. That's a great ability. Then Oath spells. We also get great Oath spells. So, we're going to get Bane and Hunter's Mark, and we're also going to get Hold Person and Misty Step, since we're going up to 6 levels in Paladin. We're also going to get 1 ability score improvement, and then extra attack again. You always want that. But then the big one is why we're going up to 6th here is for our Aura. So starting at 6th level, whenever you or a friendly creature within 10 feet of you must make a saving throw, the creature gains a bonus to the saving throw equal to your Charisma Fighter with a minimum of 1. You must be conscious to grant this bonus. Again, super amazing here. Great aura, and yeah, so Paladin of Vengeance, very cool. And I think combining a lot of those features with the sorcerer features, you're going to be a little bit more of a squishy paladin, but you're going to get a lot more spell slots, so you can do massive damage with those smites. So that's why after we take 6 levels in Paladin, we're going to go all the way full Sorcerer with another, that will be another 13 levels in Sorcerer after our initial level, just all the way to level 20. Once we get to 6 levels in Paladin, run in Sorcerer all the way up, because then we're also going to get Meta Magic, and there's a lot of really creative things you can do with this build, so very cool. And you can also theme your meta magic too, like there's certain spells you take to really help you build on the undead spooky vibes. So yeah, that's this build. Pretty fun. Definitely like a really Gish focused build. But it's definitely starts off a little bit more martial heavy, but then when you get into higher levels it becomes very much more Gish focused. So yeah. Okay, so for our 4th build of the day, we have the Phantom Knight. I am not a huge martial class player person, so I really wanted to make sure I included a fully martial build in here. And this was kind of the best, like, just kind of looking around. I think this one has a lot of fun themes and flavor in it, which is why I decided to go with it. So, yeah. first off, we are going to take Rogue. That's going to be our starting class. We get a lot of cool things with Rogue, expertise, sneak attack, all that kind of stuff. But we're going to take 3 levels in Rogue. So that way, we can get our roguish archetype, which we're going to take the Phantom Rogue. This is a really cool subclass. I think it gets overlooked a lot in my personal opinion. But what this is going to give us is Whispers of the Dead. So, echoes of those who have died cling to you. Whenever you finish a short or long rest, you can choose a skill or tool proficiency, and you gain that because ghosts are sharing your knowledge with you, which is really cool. You're also going to get Wails from the Grave. As you nudge someone closer to the grave, you can channel the power of death to harm someone else as well. Immediately after you deal your sneak attack damage to a creature on your turn, you can target a second creature that you can see within 30 feet of the first creature. Roll half the number of sneak attack dice for your level, round up, and the second creature takes a necrotic damage equal to the roll's total as Wails of the Dead sound around them for a moment. And that's really cool. You can use it up to the amount of times of your proficiency bonus, so it's not stopped. Progression doesn't stop if you multi-class, which is very cool. So yeah, those are going to be our first 3 levels. And then after that, we are actually going to go into Fighter, and we're going to take 5 levels in Fighter. So, we're going to get, more proficiencies, but we're also going to get a fighting style. So for this, you're definitely, since we're doing a rogue fighter, you're pretty much, basically, you are going to want to play a dex-based fighter, because the rogue is, very dexterous already. And I think that is going to do well with this character build, because this is also a character that I see very much stepping in and out of the shadows and having their own shadow come out of nowhere and attack all of a sudden. Or if you want to do it, you could be flavor it like your echo is perhaps the soul of an undead creature, maybe that you're controlling instead of an echo of yourself. That fits with the Phantom Rogue very well. Yeah, very, very cool. We're also going to get action surge, very nice. But then 3rd level, we're going to get our martial archetype, and here you're going to want to choose Echo Knight. Personally, my favorite personal fighter subclass, but I'm a little biased, so it's okay. I like it a lot though. I think it's really fun. So you're going to get Manifest Echo. So you can use a bonus action to magically manifest an echo of yourself in an unoccupied space you can see within 15 feet of you. That goes magical translucent gray image of you that lasts until it's destroyed or until you dismiss it as a bonus action. Until you manifest another echo, or until you're incapacitated. So the AC is 14 plus proficiency bonus, and then it's got 1 hit point and immunity to all conditions, and if it has to make a saving throw, it uses your saving throw bonuses for the roll. It's the same size as you, occupies the same space, all that great stuff. And you can use it following ways. As a bonus action, you can teleport, swapping places with it, which costs 15 feet of movement, but it's regardless of the distance between you and your echo. And then when you take the attack action on your turn, an attack you make with that action can originate from your space or the echo space. You make this choice for each attack, which is very cool, very awesome. So then when a creature that you can see within 5 feet of your echo moves at least 5 feet away from it, you can use your reaction to make an opportunity attack against the creature as if you were in the echo space. So it's really cool. It's almost like a little copy of you. And then you also get Unleash Incarnation. So you can heighten your Echo's Fury, and whenever you take the attack action, you can make 1 additional melee attack from the Echo's position, and you can use this a number of times equal to your Constitution modifier. So for this build specifically, I would focus your stats highest in Dexterity and probably your second highest in Constitution. We're also going to get ability score improvement here, and then extra attack, which is why we want to go right for those 5 levels, because we're going to have sneak attack, extra attack. I think this build is going to be able to actually deal out quite a bit of damage here. So then we're going to go back to Rogue after we take those first initial levels, and then we're going to take another 5 levels in Rogue, because we're going to get ability score bump, we're going to get Uncanny Dodge, huge Rogue ability, More expertise, always nice, but then we're also going to get evasion, which is the really big rogue ability we're looking for here. And then along these levels, we're also going to get even more sneak attack dice, which is awesome. And then the final ability score improvement at 8th level for rogue. So that's going to be how we're going to finish up with rogue there. And then for fighter, we're going to take fighter the rest of the way up until level 20. Which it's going to give us ability score improvement at 6th level for fighter. And then we also get Echo Avatar. So you can temporarily transfer your consciousness to your Echo. As an action, you can see through your Echo's eyes and hear through its ears. During this time you are deafened and blinded. You can sustain this effect for up to 10 minutes, and you can do it at any time. While your Echo is being used in this way, it can't be up to 1,000 feet away from you without being destroyed, which is very cool. Sort of similar to like a Find Familiar thing. Awesome. Another ability score improvement at 8th level, which is really nice. Then we get Indomitable, very cool fighter feature. But then we also, at 10th level, we're going to get Shadow Martyr. So you can make your Echo throw itself in front of an attack directed at another creature that you can see. Before the attack roll is made, you can use your reaction to teleport the Echo to an unoccupied space within 5 feet of the targeted creature. The attack roll that triggered this reaction is instead made against your Echo. And once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you get a short or long rest. Pretty cool little nifty feature. Use it every once in a while. And then we're also going to get another extra attack, which is super cool. And then we're also going to get our final ability score improvement, which this is fighter level 12, but this will be level 20 for us. So yeah, that is the 4th build. I hope you guys enjoy. A very, very spooky, shadowy martial build. I can't finish off this video without talking about the Blood Hunter. While the Blood Hunter is technically not an official D&D 5e class, it is widely accepted by a lot of people. It's a very well-known class. A lot of people consider it official, even though technically it isn't. I like it a lot. I think it's pretty cool. So let's get into it. So, we're gonna take our first 5 levels in Blood Hunter here. So that's gonna give us so many different things. The Blood Hunter is a very complicated class compared to other martial-y classes in my personal opinion, but I really like it. I like number crunching. I'm a number crunch person. Very cool. Anyway, at 3rd level, we're gonna get our Blood Hunter order. So for this build, I would take the Order of the Profane Soul and go Intelligence. Well, I think a lot of these other orders can work. I think more of them are focused on either killing undead rather than you yourself being like an undead creature. So that's why I would go with Order of the Profane Soul. I think it just fits a little bit tiny more, but do whatever you want. Have fun with it. So then for the Otherworldly Patron, I went with the Undead, of course. You do also have the Undying as a choice, because basically you're like a mini warlock, I guess. I don't want to say mini, but because I think the undead benefits are a little bit better than the undying, but so this is what we're gonna get. We're gonna get Pact Magic, which is very cool. We're not gonna get that many spells, but we get 2 cantrips, and then we get some spell slots. It shows the level, all that kind of stuff. So here's the nice thing, as the charts right here, which is very cool. Excuse me. And then since we're going for 5 levels, we're going to get ability score, and then we're going to get extra attack, which is why we went all the way for the 5 levels, because this is going to be a very much a more so melee focused character, but that does also have some spell control. So then we're going to go after level 5. We're going to take 2 levels in Wizard. And that's going to get us so we can choose our Arcane Tradition here. And since we went Intelligence, our spellcasting modifiers are going to be the same. So, personally, I think the School of Necromancy is not the best, and it's not a very fun subclass in my opinion. So that's why I went with Chronergy Magic, because I think if you're playing that undead character, I think having a character that is very wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, maybe they're able to mess with time some, is very cool. There's a lot of cool flavor that can go into that. Like, you could play Someone that, like, they were in this magic accident, they don't know what happened, they could have traveled to the past or traveled to the future, they don't really know what's happening, and they're trying to, like, maybe study some time magic, learn how if there's a way to get back. I think there's a lot of unique things, and if it does, I think, fit the theme of undead very well, because, like, your time has passed, you're beyond the time you should be alive, you know? But we do get some really cool things. We get Chronal Shift. So as a reaction, after you or a creature you can see within 30 feet makes an attack roll or ability check or saving throw, you can force a creature to re-roll. This is a great ability, especially since we're also mainly playing a martial class with this build, or a more martial focused class with this build. Really, really cool. So you can use this twice and you regain your uses after a long rest. So you also get temporal awareness, so you can add your initiative to your initiative rolls. Also, really great ability that combines really well with the Blood Hunter that we're playing. So these classes do mix really well. So that's what we're gonna get initially at the 2 levels of Wizard we're gonna be taking. So then we are going to jump back into Blood Hunter, and we're gonna take 3 more levels. So that's going to get us our Brand of Castigation, which is a really useful ability. So it just really focuses on your Crimson Rite and your Hemocraft magic. Very cool. And then we're going to get Mystic Frenzy. So you can, when you use your action to cast a cantrip, you can immediately make 1 weapon attack as a bonus action. So this is really helpful since we're going to have a little bit more magic. Maybe we want to be up close. It's really awesome. We're also going to get Revealed Arcana at 7th level. So your patron grants you the use of a distinctive spell based on your pact, and you can use it to and you can cast a spell without a spell slot. Need a long rest before you can do it again. But it's really nice. So then we are going to get yes, we're going to go up to 8th level in Blood Hunter. I can do math. 5 plus 3 is 8. So you're also going to get your ability score improvement here, right? And then after that, we're going to take 3 more levels in Wizard. So that's going to get us another ability score improvement, but mainly what we're after here is our 3rd level spells. So we're going to get some really useful things here. We can learn a lot of really amazing spells. 3rd level is where like 3rd level spells, a lot of casters have this massive like power jump, so you're going to be able to have things like counterspell and fly and Galdur's Tower, one of my personal favorite spells, by the way. Super underrated, not a lot of people know about it. Amazing. Anyway, not the focus. But there's also a lot of cool flavoring you can do here, like Spirit Shroud, Speak with Dead, Summon Undead. So that's really why you want to get all the way to 5th level with Wizard. And it gives you more spell slots too, since you are getting some spells with the Order of the Profane Soul. And then after that, we're going to take Blood Hunter the rest of the way, all the way up to level 15 in Blood Hunter. We're going to get a bunch of stuff. At level 9, we get Grim Psychometry. So when you reach 9th level, you gain a supernatural talent. So whenever you make intelligence history checks to recall information about sinister or tragic history of an object you are touching or your current location, you have advantage on the check, and at the DM's discretion, a suitably high roll might cause your character to experience brief visions of the past or connect. That's a very cool flavor ability. Then we also get Dark Augmentation. So at 10th level, the magic of Hemocraft suffuses your body permanently and reinforces your resilience. Your speed increases by 5 feet. You have a bonus to strength, dexterity, and constitution saving throws equal to your Hemocraft modifier, minimum of 1. This is a really great ability to have. We're also going to get Brand of Sapping Scar. So upon reaching 11th level, your Brand of Castigation features digs dark arcane scars into your target, leaving them vulnerable to your magic. A creature branded by you has disadvantage on saving throws against your Warlock spells. That's super cool. That's super helpful. So you're also going to get, sorry for the sirens, another ability score improvement. We're going to get Brand of Tethering, Heart and Soul, and Unsealed Arcana. These are all super great abilities. Very fun character. Most of the time, people don't play up to level 20, but if you do, go ham. Go crazy. So blood hunters, they have access to the warlock spell list with their patron. So they do have a lot of really great spells, and you're going to get up to 3rd level spells by the time you're 15th level, which is really nice. But we already got there super early with our wizard levels, so it boosted our power level just a little bit more. So that's kind of why I was really, I think the wizard really works. Give you some more magic, a little bit more flavor, a couple more cool abilities to have some fun with there. So yeah, those are just some 5 fun ideas for undead builds in D&D. There's a lot more things you can do with undead builds, or even just kind of creepy, spooky builds. But these are just a couple of the ones that I came up with and I thought would be really fun to mention. So yeah, I hope you guys liked the video, and if you do, make sure to like and subscribe. Thanks! Have a great day. Bye!